Andrew Venables has shot 2 roebucks for Ben Heath, one with a 120 grain copper bullet in 6.5 Creedmoor, the other with a much lighter 80 grain copper bullet in 243. They compare the differences in meat damage.
The one which was shot with the 6.5 Creedmoor with a 120 grain South African peregrine bullet, classic sort of cross the chest shot, penetrated both lungs, exited, and the deer, as they very often do, it ran. Entry speed was probably about 2,500 or 600 feet per second because it was about 200 metres away.
We had a very small entry wound, which would be expected, but immediately from the inside of the rib cage on the entry side, we saw an immediate mushrooming effect from that bullet. You could see a very good sized wound channel going through both lungs. And on the exit side, we had, I would say, an inch diameter exit. Often when deer run, we'll find quite a bit of blood under the sort of the first layer of muscle. But on that carcass, we were hoping to actually get a bit more than we did, and it was an extremely clean carcass. When we opened up one of the shoulders, what we did find that there was evidence of blood, and blood for meat is not a good thing. It's what the FSA inspectors don't like to see, and that's where often you can experience quite a lot of wastage when butchering body shot deer, and that's why many of the game dealers have been trying to advocate neck shots and those sorts of things to ensure clean carcasses.
Weirdly, the two that I shot with the 243, with an 80 grain bullet running at about 3,300 feet per second, dropped on the spot, even though I didn't expect them to from the chest shots that we delivered. I feel that's likely to be hydrostatic shock. That stunning impact on the animal that moves the fluid in the body, causes unconsciousness, and by the time it wakes up, it's dead, basically.
It was quartering. The bullet entered behind the front leg. It went through. It actually took the top of the heart out. That deer dropped on the spot, and it also went through one of the lungs, and then it exited through the shoulder. Now, okay, the meat in the shoulder was damaged because of the exit wound, but there was no additional bruising or blood rush any more than what I would experience with a lead bullet. There was less internal damage in terms of visible particles of bullet breaking up.
Because if I'd done either shot with a 308, standard sort of lead bullet, I would fully have expected them to have jumped up in the air and run a bit. Weirdly, they dropped on the spot. I've spent a long time telling people, if you don't want meat damage and you're shooting a 308, don't go for a lighter bullet, which is going quicker, lead now, lead and copper. Go for a heavier bullet, moving slower. I'm now in a situation where I'm not saying I was wrong all those years. What I'm saying is, if you switch to copper bullets, go for a light for caliber bullet that's going quicker, and to save you buying dozens of batches and trying to find out what works, we're doing that now. It's free.